There is a specific kind of quiet that arrives late at night. It's not just the absence of sound from the world outside, but a hushing of the day's distractions. In this deep quiet, when the television is off and the house has settled into its own gentle breathing, other things begin to speak. A worry that was just a faint whisper during the busy afternoon can become a voice that fills the entire room. And for so many, that voice speaks of a single, powerful fear. The fear of a future you don't control, of a place that feels less like a new chapter and more like the final, closing page. Before we begin this journey together tonight, just a quick moment. I'm curious where this is finding you. Write in the comments, if you feel comfortable, which part of this world you're listening from right now, and what time it is where you are. Are you listening in the profound quiet of the late night, when the moon is high in the sky? Or perhaps in the delicate gray hours of early morning, when sleep just hasn't come to visit yet? Just leave a word or two, a small signal from your part of the world to mine. And then, settle in. Because this time right now, is entirely and completely yours. The central question that brings us here tonight is not how to fight this fear, not how to build walls against it, or pretend it doesn't exist. The real question is how we can meet it. How can we turn toward this deep, human dread about the future and listen to what it's trying to tell us about what we value right now? By the time you drift into sleep tonight, we will have begun to find a different path. One that isn't about escaping the fear of the future, but about reclaiming the profound power and peace that is available to you in the present. We will learn to transform the raw energy of anxiety into a quiet, steady strength that has been inside you all along. So let us begin by simply arriving right here, in this bed, in this room. Feel the surface that is holding you. Notice the weight of the blankets upon you, a gentle pressure that is both grounding and protective. Allow yourself to feel the support of the mattress beneath you, holding your entire body without any effort on your part. For the first time all day, there is nothing you need to hold up. You can let go. Think for a moment about the armor we wear throughout the day. It's not made of metal, but of subtle tensions. A tightening in the jaw when you're concentrating or holding back words. A raising of the shoulders as you carry the day's responsibilities. A clenching in your hands or your stomach as you navigate the small and large challenges of living. This armor is heavy, and you have carried it long enough for one day. Let's set the intention to gently take it off, piece by piece. Start with your jaw. Allow a little space to form between your upper and lower teeth. Let your tongue rest softly in your high mouth. Feel the muscles in your cheeks and around your eyes begin to soften, letting go of the expressions you held all day long. Now, bring your awareness to your shoulders. With a slow, gentle breath, imagine them dropping away from your ears, releasing a weight you may not have even realized you were carrying. Let that feeling of release travel down your arms, through your elbows, and all the way to your fingertips. Uncurl your hands. Let them rest, open and peaceful, at your sides. The work of the day is done. There is nothing more to hold on to. Now, let's travel down into your chest and your stomach. This is where we often store our deepest worries. We brace ourselves for impact. We tighten up against difficult news or painful thoughts. Tonight, you don't need to brace for anything. In this space, you are safe. Give that area permission to soften. Imagine the muscles untying themselves, loosening their grip. With each exhale, feel a little more of that internal tension melting away, like ice giving way to the warmth of a gentle stream. This process is not about forcing relaxation. It is simply about giving permission. You are allowing your body to do what it naturally knows how to do when it feels safe, to rest, to repair, to let go. And as your body begins to find its peace, we can set a quiet intention for your mind and heart. Our intention tonight is not to solve the immense puzzle of the future. We are not here to create a 5-point plan or to wrestle with logistics. That is the work of the daytime world. The work of the night, this sacred time of rest, is different. Our intention is simply to find peace with the future by fully inhabiting the safety of the present. To do this, we must first acknowledge that the fear you feel is not a sign of failure or weakness. It is, in fact, a testament to how much you love your life. You fear its diminishment because you cherish your autonomy. You fear losing your home because it is a vessel for your memories, your identity, your story. This fear is born from a deep and powerful love of your own existence, your own dignity, your own world that you have so carefully built over decades. It is a sign of your strength, not its absence. And so, we will not treat this fear as an enemy to be vanquished. We will treat it as a messenger, a tired, anxious messenger who has been shouting to get your attention and who can finally be invited in to speak its piece in a calm and understanding space. Imagine you are creating a sanctuary right here in this bed. This space is protected. Within these walls of gentle awareness, all feelings are allowed, but no feeling has the power to overwhelm you. Here, you are the calm and steady observer. You are the wise host, and the fear is simply a visitor. You can listen to it without becoming it. You can acknowledge its presence without letting it take over the entire house. For the next little while, your only job is to breathe, to feel the gentle rise and fall of your own chest, to notice the quiet rhythm that has been with you every second of every day of your life. This breath is your anchor. It is the steady, reliable constant in a world of change. Whenever your mind begins to wander into the land of worry, gently, without judgment, guide it back to the sensation of your breathing. This is the practice. It is simple, but it is not always easy. It is the profound act of reclaiming your power from the future and grounding it firmly in the here and now. The future is a story, a collection of possibilities, many of which will never come to pass. But this breath is real. The feeling of the blankets on your skin, that is real. The support of the bed beneath you, that is real. Let's stay here, in the realness of this moment. This is where your peace lives. Not in a future that is free of problems, but in a present where you are connected to your own unshakable core of being. This is the foundation we will build upon tonight. A foundation of presence, of self-compassion, and of the quiet, undeniable power that comes from simply being here, now, and letting go of the day. You are safe, you are whole, and you are exactly where you need to be. Now, in this safe and quiet space you have created for yourself, let us gently turn our attention to the heart of the matter. We don't need to shout it. We don't need to panic. We can simply allow the word, the name of the place, to surface in our minds. For many, that name is nursing home. Just notice what happens in your body when you hear that phrase. Perhaps there is a slight tightening in your chest, a quickening of your breath, or a cold feeling that washes over you. There is no need to push this feeling away. For now, we are just observing. We are being curious about the power that these two simple words hold. This is not about the reality of all such places. Many are filled with dedicated, caring people. This is about the story the name tells inside of you. It's about the images and feelings that have been woven into that phrase over a lifetime of cultural narratives and personal anxieties. Let's look at those images together, from this place of calm detachment. What do you see? Perhaps the first image is of a long, sterile hallway. The lighting is a little too bright, a little too uniform, casting no warm shadows. The floors are polished to a high shine, reflecting the fluorescent lights from above. The air might have a particular smell, a mixture of cleaning supplies and cooked food, a scent that is clean but not comforting. It is the smell of an institution, not a home. You might hear sounds that are not the sounds of home. The distant beep of a machine, the squeak of rubber-soled shoes on the floor, the low, constant murmur of a television in a common room, playing to no one in particular. These are not the familiar, personal sounds of your own space, the creak of a specific floorboard, the hum of your refrigerator, the sound of the wind in the trees outside your window. Then there is the loss of personal space. Think about what makes your home yours. It is the accumulation of objects, each with a story. The photograph on the bedside table, the collection of books with cracked spines, the worn, comfortable armchair that is perfectly molded to your body, the slightly chipped mug that you always reach for in the morning. These are not just things. They are anchors to your identity. They are the physical evidence of your life, your loves, your interests, your history. The fear is of a place where these things are stripped away, replaced by a generic bed, a standard issue dresser, a single small bulletin board for a few chosen pictures. It's the fear of your rich, textured life being condensed into a space that feels anonymous. The fear of becoming a room number instead of a person who lives in a home. And this brings us to the very core of the dread, doesn't it? Underneath the fear of the place itself, the smells, the sounds, the lack of privacy, is a much deeper, more profound fear. It is the fear of becoming invisible. It is the fear that your story, a story that has been unfolding for 60, 70, 80 years or more, will suddenly stop being read. The fear that you will be seen not for the incredible, complex individual you are, but as a collection of needs and ailments. A chart to be updated, a schedule to be managed, a body to be cared for. This is the heart of it. The terror is not just about changing your address. It's about losing your authorship over your own life. It is the fear that the pen will be taken from your hand and the final chapters will be written by someone else in a language you do not recognize. You have been a parent, a child, a friend, a partner, a professional, a creator, a problem solver, a traveler, a witness to history. Your mind is a library of incredible experiences, unique insights, and hard-won wisdom. You have navigated joys and sorrows, triumphs and failures. You have loved deeply. You have learned countless things. You have become who you are through 1,000 small decisions and a few life-altering leaps of faith. This is the person you know yourself to be. The fear is that this vast, rich inner world will become unseen, unheard, and unknown to those around you. That you will be summarized by your limitations rather than celebrated for your history. It's the fear that your story will end before you are truly finished telling it, before you are ready to let it go. Let this be heard and understood deep in your soul right now. Your feelings about this are valid and profoundly human. They are not an overreaction. They are not a sign of being difficult or ungrateful. They are the natural, healthy response of a spirit that cherishes its own life, its own dignity, and its own story. It is the cry of a soul that wants to remain visible, to matter, to be known until the very end. To feel this fear is to be fully alive. It is a sign that your heart is still passionately engaged with the world and with your own precious existence. So instead of fighting this feeling or being ashamed of it, let us simply honor it. Let us bow to it as we would to a powerful teacher. It is teaching you what you value most: connection, autonomy, respect, and the deep, abiding need to be seen as the whole person you have always been. By naming these specific images, the hallway, the room, the loss of your things, and by touching the core fear of invisibility, we take away some of its shadowy power. We bring it out into the gentle light of our awareness. And here, in this light, it is no longer a monstrous, shapeless dread that haunts the edges of the night. It becomes something we can understand, something we can talk to. In anything we can understand, we can learn to navigate. We are not solving the problem tonight. We are simply sitting with the truth of the feeling. We are giving it the space it has been demanding. And in this simple act of witnessing, a subtle shift begins to happen. The panic begins to lose its grip. The fear, now seen and named, can begin to soften, just like the muscles in your body did a few moments ago. It is still there, perhaps, but it is no longer screaming for your attention. It is simply present, and you are present with it, holding it all in a vast, compassionate awareness. This is the first step, and it is the most important one. Flowing directly from this fear of losing our place in the world is another, equally potent fear. It often lives just beneath the surface, a quiet but persistent whisper. It's the fear of being a burden. Let's gently explore this painful thought, this question that can echo in the mind during the quietest hours. Am I becoming too much for them? The them could be anyone. Your children, your partner, your friends, the people you love most in the world. This thought is so heavy because it strikes at the very heart of our most cherished relationships. For a lifetime, you have likely been a contributor, a provider, a source of strength and support for others. You have been the one people turn to. You fixed things. You offered advice. You cooked meals. You gave rides. You provided comfort. Your identity is deeply intertwined with being capable, with being a giver. And so, the shift from that role to one where you might need more than you can give can feel like a seismic upheaval. It can feel like a betrayal of who you've always been. The fear of being a burden isn't just about the practicalities of needing help. It's not just about someone having to drive you to an appointment or help with groceries. It runs much deeper. It's about the fear that your needs will exhaust the love and patience of those around you. It's the fear that their lives will become smaller, more restricted, because yours has. You see them rushing around, juggling their own jobs, their own children, their own stresses, and the thought of adding your own weight to their already heavy load can feel unbearable. You fear seeing a flicker of resentment in their eyes, hearing a sigh of exhaustion on the phone. You fear that the joyful, easy nature of your relationship will be replaced by a sense of obligation and duty. That you will become a project to be managed rather than a person to be loved and enjoyed. This is a profound and painful anxiety. And what is the natural human instinct when faced with this fear? It is to hide, to conceal the struggle. This is an act we learn early in life, and we become experts at it. You might notice yourself doing it in small ways. When a child calls and asks, "How are you doing?" the automatic response is, "I'm fine, everything's great." You don't mention the fall you had yesterday, the pain in your knee that made it hard to get out of bed, or the confusing letter from the insurance company that you can't quite make sense of. You edit your reality. You present the highlight reel, the version of yourself that is still strong, still independent, still fine. You might push through physical pain, pretending it isn't there, because you don't want to be the one who slows everyone down or causes plans to be changed. You might insist on carrying something that is too heavy, or reaching for something on a high shelf when you feel unsteady, all to maintain the appearance of capability. You might struggle silently with loneliness or confusion, not wanting to bother anyone with your feelings. You build a careful facade of self-sufficiency, hoping no one will see the cracks. And every time you successfully hide a struggle, there's a moment of relief. You've dodged the bullet. You've avoided confirming the fear. You have remained, in their eyes, the capable person you've always been. But this hiding comes at a tremendous cost. It requires a huge amount of energy to constantly monitor yourself, to edit your words, to push your body beyond its limits. It is exhausting. And more than that, it is profoundly isolating. In your effort to avoid being a burden, you inadvertently build a wall around yourself. You prevent the very people who love you from truly seeing you, from knowing what you're going through. You deny them the opportunity to offer the love and support they likely want to give. This creates a painful paradox. In an attempt to preserve your connection to them, you are slowly making yourself more and more alone. It is so important to recognize this hiding for what it is. It is not dishonesty. It is not manipulation. It is an act of self-preservation. It is a strategy born from a deep and understandable desire to protect your relationships and maintain your dignity. It comes from a place of love. You hide your struggles because you love your family and you don't want to cause them pain or stress. You hide your needs because you value your independence and your identity as a capable person. There is no shame in this. It is a testament to how deeply you care. But like any strategy, it's worth examining whether it's truly serving you now. Is this constant vigilance, this exhausting performance of being fine, truly bringing you peace? Or is it simply amplifying your fear in the lonely quiet of the night? Think about it this way. A bridge that is engineered to be completely rigid will shatter under stress. The strongest bridges are those that have a degree of flexibility, that can sway with the wind and shift with the weight that passes over them. In the same way, a life that insists on absolute rigid independence becomes brittle. True strength, lasting strength, lies in the ability to be flexible, to adapt, to accept support as gracefully as you have always given it. Tonight, you can give yourself permission to stop pretending. Right here, in the safety of your own bed, you can acknowledge the truth of your struggles. You can admit to yourself, without any audience, that the pain is real, that the confusion is real, that the loneliness is real. You can let the mask of "I'm fine" dissolve, just for a little while, and simply be with the reality of your experience. There is an immense and immediate relief in this. It is the relief of putting down a weight you have been carrying for so very long. Acknowledging the truth to yourself is the first step toward finding a new, more honest, and more sustainable way of being in the world and with the people you love. It is the beginning of finding a strength that is not based on hiding, but on a brave and gentle authenticity. As you lie here, having acknowledged the fear of the dreaded place and the deep-seated worry of becoming a burden, it can feel incredibly isolating. It can feel as though you are the only one navigating this terrifying new landscape. But I want you to listen very closely to this next thought and let it settle into the deepest parts of you. You are not alone in this. This fear you are feeling, this nightly anxiety about the future, is not a unique affliction. It is not a sign that you are failing at aging or that you have a weakness of character. It is a deeply shared human experience, a common, powerful thread in the vast and intricate tapestry of a long life. Imagine for a moment that you could see into the minds and hearts of countless others, just like you, as they settle into bed tonight. In homes down the street, in cities across the country, in nations all around the world, there are people of a similar age and stage of life feeling the very same tremor of apprehension. They too are staring into the darkness, wrestling with images of a future they did not choose. They too are replaying conversations in their minds, wondering if they sounded too needy or complained too much. They too are feeling the quiet ache of a body that doesn't move the way it used to, and are grappling with the fear of what that might mean for their independence. This is not to diminish your own experience, but to dignify it. Your fear is not a private shame. It is a shared anthem of the human condition. It is part of the curriculum of a life lived fully. To reach an age where you must contemplate such things is, in itself, a success. It means you have lived, you have loved, you have survived. And this chapter, with all its inherent challenges, is part of that survival. Let's think about the things you desire, the things you are afraid of losing. You desire the dignity of making your own choices, even small ones. The choice of what to eat for breakfast, of when to wake up and when to go to bed. The choice of what to watch on television or which book to read. The choice of who to invite into your home. This is not a trivial want. The desire for autonomy, for the sense of being the captain of your own ship, is a fundamental human need. It is as essential to the soul as oxygen is to the body. From the moment a toddler first says, "Me do it," we are asserting this powerful drive for self-determination. It doesn't fade with age. If anything, it becomes more precious as other abilities may change. So your fierce desire to hold on to your autonomy is not stubbornness. It is the life force in you, expressing its most basic and noble impulse. You also desire a familiar environment. You want to be surrounded by the walls that have absorbed the sounds of your laughter and your tears. You want to navigate your kitchen in the dark, knowing exactly where everything is by heart. You want to look out your window and see the tree you've watched grow for 30 years. This is not a selfish attachment to material things. Your home is an extension of your being. It is a living museum of your personal history. It is the place where you feel most fully yourself, where you don't have to explain or justify your existence. The instinct to remain in this sacred space is one of the most powerful and natural instincts we have. It is the homing instinct of the soul. Wanting to stay in your own home is not a sign of being difficult. It is a sign of being deeply, beautifully human. You are not asking for the impossible. You are not making unreasonable demands on the universe. You are simply expressing the fundamental needs that have defined our species for millennia. The need for dignity, for autonomy, and for a place to call home. To see these desires as selfish or burdensome is a distortion. It is a story told by a culture that sometimes prizes efficiency over humanity and youth over wisdom. But it is not the true story. The true story is that your needs are valid, your feelings are normal, and your desires are honorable. In fact, it is a sign of your strength that you care so deeply about your own life and dignity. Think of it this way. A person who no longer cared about their future, who was indifferent to where they lived or how they were treated, would be a person who has given up. But you have not given up. The very fact that you are wrestling with these fears, that they are keeping you up at night, is a powerful indicator of your engagement with life. It shows that your spirit is still fighting. It is fighting for what matters. It is fighting for the right to a life that is not just about existing, but about living with purpose, with choice, and with honor. This is something to be celebrated, not condemned. This inner turmoil is the friction of a powerful life force, rubbing up against the challenges of time. It is the fire of your spirit still burning brightly. So tonight, let's try to reframe this entire experience. Instead of seeing this fear as a flaw, see it as evidence of your strength. Instead of feeling shame for wanting to stay in your home, feel pride in your deep connection to the life you've built. Instead of feeling guilty for wanting autonomy, recognize it as the song of your soul demanding to be heard. You are part of a vast, unseen community of elders, all of whom are navigating this same passage. You are walking a path that is as old as humanity itself. And on this path, your feelings are not your enemy. They are your compass. They are pointing you toward what you must protect, what you must advocate for, and what you must cherish in the days and years to come. You are not broken. You are not failing. You are simply human, and you are feeling exactly what a strong, vital human feels when faced with one of life's most profound challenges. Let that truth wash over you. Let it bring not a sense of resignation, but a sense of quiet solidarity and deep, unshakable self-worth. Now that we have named the fear, acknowledged the instinct to hide, and validated the universality of this experience, the next step is perhaps the most gentle, yet the most powerful. It is the step of giving yourself radical, unconditional permission to feel it all. For so long, you may have been at war with your own emotions. When fear arises, the instinct is to fight it, to push it down, to distract yourself. When sadness about your changing abilities surfaces, you might tell yourself to be strong or look on the bright side. When anger at the unfairness of it all flashes through you, you might feel ashamed of its intensity, believing it to be an ungrateful or unbecoming emotion. We spend so much of our energy managing, policing, and suppressing our inner world. But tonight, we are going to try something completely different. We are going to declare a truce. We are going to create a safe, internal harbor where every single one of these feelings is allowed to exist without judgment, without needing to be fixed or changed. Imagine, right now, a quiet, peaceful space within you. It could be a serene garden, a calm beach at twilight, or a cozy room with a warm fireplace. This is your inner sanctuary. It is a space that belongs only to you, and within its boundaries, you make the rules. And the only rule in this sanctuary tonight is that everything is welcome. Let's start with fear. Instead of bracing against it, imagine opening a door and allowing it to enter this safe space. See it not as a monster, but perhaps as a small, trembling child, terrified of the dark. It doesn't need to be lectured or dismissed. It simply needs to be seen. In your mind's eye, you can offer it a seat. You can say to it, silently, "I see you. I know you're scared. You are allowed to be here with me for a little while." By simply acknowledging it, you change your relationship to it. You are no longer its victim. You are its calm, compassionate host. Now, let's invite in the sadness. This is the quiet grief for the things that have changed. Grief for the ease of movement you once took for granted. Grief for the friends who are no longer with you. Grief for the version of yourself that could do everything without a second thought. This sadness is not self-pity. It is the natural, healthy, emotional response to loss. It is the price of having loved your life and your body so well. Like the fear, let the sadness come into your sanctuary. Don't drown in it, but allow it to be present. It might feel like a gentle rain or a quiet, heavy fog. You don't have to make it go away. You can simply sit with it, letting it know that it too is a valid part of your story. It is the testament to your love. And then there is anger. This can be the most difficult emotion to accept. We are often taught that anger is negative, destructive. But anger is also a life-affirming energy. It is the part of you that rises up and says, "This is not right. This is not fair." It is the protective instinct of your spirit, the roar of your life force refusing to be diminished. Your anger at the thought of losing your autonomy. Your anger at the limitations imposed by your body. Your anger at a system that can feel so impersonal. This anger is a sign of your passion for life. Invite it into your sanctuary. See it not as a destructive fire, but as a powerful, protective flame. Acknowledge its strength. Thank it for trying to protect your dignity. By giving it a safe place to be seen, you can honor its message without letting it consume you. As you allow these emotions to be present, you might notice something happening in your body. Remember the armor we talked about earlier? The armor of physical tension is often forged by the very act of pushing these feelings away. Clenching your jaw can be a way of biting back angry words. Tightening your shoulders can be a way of bracing against fear. Holding your breath can be a way of trying to stop the swell of sadness. As you give these emotions permission to exist in your mind, you can now give your body permission to release the tension associated with them. With each breath, consciously soften the parts of your body that feel tight. Let your jaw go slack. Let your shoulders drop. Let your belly be soft. You are releasing the physical evidence of a long internal battle. You are letting go of the exhausting work of pretending you are not afraid, not sad, not angry. The relief can be profound. To help with this process, let's use a simple analogy. Imagine you are sitting on the bank of a wide, gently flowing river. The feelings of fear, sadness, and anger are like leaves, twigs, or boats floating on the surface of the water. Your task is not to jump into the river and be swept away by them, nor is it to build a dam to try and stop their flow. Your task is simply to sit on the bank and watch them pass. A leaf of fear floats by. You notice it. There is fear. You watch it as it drifts downstream and eventually out of sight. Then a heavy log of sadness comes into view. You observe its weight, its texture. Here is sadness. You watch it too, as it continues on its journey. Then a flash of red, a fast-moving boat of anger, speeds past. You see its energy. There is anger, and you let it go too. By doing this, you learn a crucial truth. You are not your emotions. You are the calm, steady awareness that is capable of observing them. The emotions are weather patterns passing through the vast sky of your consciousness. They are not the sky itself. The sky remains clear and open, regardless of the storms that pass through it. You are the sky. This practice of allowing and releasing creates space inside you. When we fight our feelings, they get stuck. They become lodged in our bodies and minds, demanding our energy, fueling a cycle of anxiety. But when we allow them to flow through us, like a river, they can complete their natural course and move on. This is the true meaning of letting go. It is not about forcing a feeling to disappear. It is about allowing it to move. Tonight, give yourself this incredible gift. The gift of non-resistance. The gift of compassionate acceptance. In your sanctuary, everything is welcome. Everything is allowed to be. And in this radical act of allowing, you will find a peace that is deeper and more resilient than any peace that comes from distraction or denial. You will find the peace of wholeness. Having created this safe, compassionate space within, where all emotions are welcome, let us now turn our attention to one specific heavy weight. It is the one we touched upon earlier, the painful and pervasive identity of being a burden. This is more than just a fleeting thought. For many, it can become a core belief, a heavy cloak that you wrap around yourself without even realizing it. It colors your interactions, silences your needs, and drains the joy from your relationships. Tonight, we are going to consciously and deliberately take this cloak off and set it down. It does not belong to you. It was never yours to carry. This label, burden, is a story. It is not the truth of who you are. The truth of who you are is a person who has contributed, loved, worked, cared, and created for decades. The truth is that your very existence has enriched the lives of others in countless ways, big and small, ways you may have forgotten or never even knew. A burden is something unwanted, something that provides only weight and no value. That is not and has never been you. The seasons of life naturally involve periods of giving and periods of receiving. When you were a child, you received care. As a young adult, you may have cared for your own children. In middle age, you might have supported aging parents while also supporting your own family. You have been on all sides of this equation. It is the natural rhythm of human life, like the tides. To arrive at a season where you need more care is not a failure or a flaw. It is simply a continuation of this universal, cyclical dance of interdependence. No one would call a baby a burden for needing to be fed and held. We understand it as a natural phase of life. Why then do we apply this harsh judgment to ourselves in the later seasons? It is a story we have learned from a culture that fears dependency, but it is not a fundamental truth. So, let's begin the process of putting this weight down. I invite you to use your imagination, which is one of the most powerful tools your mind possesses. Right now, in your mind's eye, I want you to visualize this feeling of being a burden. What does it look like? What form does it take? For some, it might be a heavy, dense rock that you've been carrying in a sack on your back. Feel its weight pulling down on your shoulders, straining your muscles, making every step an effort. For others, It might be a set of heavy iron chains wrapped around your chest, restricting your breath and making it hard to feel joy. Or perhaps it's a thick, sodden wool coat, soaked with the rain of other people's perceived worries, making you feel cold and heavy. Take a moment to truly see and feel this weight. Acknowledge how exhausting it has been to carry it for so long. Now, very slowly, very deliberately, you are going to set it down. If it is a rock in a sack, imagine yourself shrugging the straps off your shoulders. Feel the incredible, immediate relief as the weight releases its grip on you. Let the sack fall to the ground beside you with a heavy, satisfying thud. If it is a set of chains, imagine you hold the key in your hand. You find the lock, you turn the key, and you hear the click of the mechanism releasing. Feel the chains loosen and then slide off your body, clattering onto the floor. If it is a heavy, wet coat, imagine unbuttoning it, one button at a time, and shrugging it off your shoulders. Let it fall away from you. Notice the immediate sense of lightness, of freedom. You can breathe more deeply. Your shoulders can relax. Your posture can straighten. Now, look at this object. The rock, the chains, the coat, lying on the ground beside you. See it clearly for what it is. It is separate from you. You have been carrying it, but it is not you. It is just a story, a collection of fears and assumptions. Look at it, and silently or out loud, you can say, "This does not belong to me." You can separate yourself from the narrative it tells. You can see that your true self is the one who is now standing here, lighter and freer, looking at this heavy thing on the floor. You are the observer of the weight, not the weight itself. This act of visualization is more than just a mental game. It is a way of instructing your subconscious mind to change a deeply ingrained pattern. You are physically and emotionally enacting the separation between your true identity and the false label of burden. And in the space that has been created by putting down that weight, let us plant a new, truer thought. Let this affirmation sink into your heart, into your bones, into every cell of your being. My worth is not measured by what I can do, but by who I am. Let's repeat that, silently, to yourself. My worth is not measured by what I can do, but by who I am. It is not measured by your ability to cook your own meals, drive a car, or manage your finances. It is not contingent on your physical strength or your state of health. Your worth is inherent. It is absolute. It was bestowed upon you at birth, and it cannot be diminished by age, illness, or circumstance. It resides in your unique consciousness, in your history, in the love you have given and received. It resides in the simple, miraculous fact of your existence. Think of a magnificent, ancient tree in a forest. In its youth, it provided shade and produced fruit. As it ages, some of its branches may become bare, its trunk may become gnarled, and it may no longer produce fruit. But does it lose its worth? No. Its worth deepens. It becomes a home for birds and insects. Its roots hold the soil in place, preventing erosion. Its very presence speaks of resilience, of history, of endurance. It is valued not for what it does, but for what it is. A majestic, living monument. You too are like this ancient, worthy tree. The value you bring to the world now is different, perhaps from the value you brought in your youth, but it is no less profound. It is the value of wisdom, of perspective, of a long view that only time can bestow. It is the value of being a living link to the past, a keeper of family stories and traditions. It is the value of simply being, of offering a presence that is grounding to those around you, whether you realize it or not. Tonight, let this be a turning point. Every time the whisper of "I am a burden" tries to creep back into your mind, you can recall this image. You can see the heavy object lying on the floor, separate from you, and you can gently remind yourself of the truth. My worth is inherent. My worth is not up for debate. I am worthy of care. I am worthy of love. And I am worthy of taking up space in this world exactly as I am right now. Let yourself rest in this feeling of lightness, this feeling of profound and unshakable self-worth. It is your birthright. Now that you have allowed yourself to feel everything without judgment and have consciously set down the heavy weight of being a burden, a new kind of clarity can begin to emerge. With this newfound inner space, we can start to gently reframe the problem itself. For so long, the mind has been stuck in a loop, fixated on one specific feared outcome, the nursing home. This place has become the symbol for all your fears: loss of autonomy, loss of identity, loss of home. But what if that focus has been subtly misdirecting your energy? What if the problem isn't truly the place, but the feelings you're desperate to avoid? Let's try a little thought experiment right here in the calm of this moment. Let's shift our focus entirely away from the place we fear and instead turn our attention toward the feelings we deeply desire. Instead of worrying about what you don't want, let's get crystal clear on what you do want, on what you truly need to feel safe and whole as you continue on your life's journey. So, let's ask a different kind of question. Not, how do I avoid the nursing home? But rather, what does support that honors my dignity actually look like and feel like? This shift is subtle, but it is revolutionary. It moves you from a position of fear-based reaction to one of creative, intentional thinking. It puts the power back in your hands. So, let's dream a little. What is the feeling you are truly searching for? The first and most fundamental feeling is likely safety. Not just physical safety from falls or medical emergencies, but emotional safety. The feeling of being in a place where you can truly be yourself, where you don't have to pretend to be fine, where your vulnerabilities are met with kindness, not impatience. Safety is the feeling of being known and understood. It's the comfort of a familiar routine, the peace of mind that comes from knowing that if you need help, it will be there, offered with respect and compassion. Take a moment to feel into that. What does that kind of safety feel like in your body? Perhaps it's a warmth in your chest, a deep sense of calm, a letting go of a tension you've been holding for years. Another desired feeling is connection. You don't just want to be cared for. You want to remain connected. Connected to the people you love, to your community, to the interests and hobbies that bring you joy. You want to have conversations that matter, to share laughter, to feel like you are still a part of the world, not separate from it. Connection is the opposite of the invisibility we spoke of earlier. It is the feeling of being seen, heard, and valued. It's knowing that your presence still matters to others, that your absence would be felt. This isn't a luxury. It is a core human need. It is the lifeblood of a meaningful existence. What does that feeling of genuine connection feel like? Perhaps it's an expansion in your heart, a lightness, a sense of belonging. And then there is the crucial feeling of respect. You want your life's experience to be honored. You want your preferences to be considered. You want to be spoken to as an intelligent adult who has a lifetime of wisdom, not as a child who needs to be managed. Respect is being asked for your opinion about your own life. It is having your no heard and honored. It is the fundamental acknowledgement of your sovereignty over your own being. It's the difference between care that is done to you and care that is done with you. What does that feeling of being deeply respected feel like? For many, it feels like standing taller, a sense of solidity, a quiet confidence in your own worth. Safety, connection, respect. Notice how different this feels from the circular anxiety about a specific place. By focusing on these core desired feelings, we begin to separate the problem from the need. The perceived problem was a place. The actual need is for a specific quality of life and care. And this is where the hope lies, because there are many, many different ways to meet the need for safety, connection, and respect. A nursing home became the symbol of the loss of these things. But it is not the only path the future can take. By defining what you truly want in terms of feeling and experience, you open up the possibility for more creative solutions. For example, what would support that feel safe, connected, and respectful look like in your own home? Could it be having someone come in for a few hours a week to help with difficult tasks, preserving your energy for the things you enjoy? Could it be using technology to make it easier to connect with family or get help in an emergency? Could it be a conversation with your loved ones, not about what happens if, but about how can we work together to honor your desire for dignity and connection right now? The conversation changes completely when you lead with what you want to feel, rather than what you want to avoid. You are no longer just saying no to one option. You are saying yes to a set of principles. This process is about becoming an expert on your own needs. It is about moving from being a passive worrier about the future to an active architect of your own well-being. The fear of the nursing home is a blunt instrument. It's a big, loud alarm bell, and it has served its purpose by getting your attention. Now, we can thank that alarm bell and turn our focus to the fine-tuning. We can begin to articulate a vision for your future that is defined not by what it isn't, but by what it is. A future where you feel safe. A future where you feel connected. A future where you are respected. This is not a fantasy. It is a set of guiding principles. And with these principles as your compass, you can begin to navigate the path ahead with a new sense of purpose and a much quieter mind. You are no longer just running from something. You are moving towards something, and that makes all the difference. As we begin to focus on what we truly need, safety, connection, respect, we inevitably arrive at a crossroads. To achieve these things, especially as life presents new challenges, often requires us to do something that feels deeply counterintuitive. It requires us to ask for help. For a lifetime, strength has been defined as radical self-reliance. Strength was fixing the leaky faucet yourself, pushing through exhaustion to get everything done, never letting anyone see you struggle. The idea of needing help can feel like a confession of failure, a final admission that you can no longer manage on your own. It can feel like the first step on that feared slippery slope. But tonight, let's work on fundamentally redefining what strength and help truly mean at this stage of life. Let's reframe the act of asking for help. It is not a failure. It is not a surrender. Asking for help strategically and wisely is one of the most powerful and intelligent strategies you can employ to preserve your autonomy and independence for as long as possible. This is a crucial shift in perspective. You are not giving up your independence, you are investing in it. Think about it this way. If the engine in your car started making a strange noise, would you consider it a sign of personal failure? Would you feel ashamed to take it to a mechanic? Of course not. You would see it as a wise, proactive step to prevent a small problem from becoming a catastrophic one. You are using the mechanic's expertise to extend the life and functionality of your car, to keep it running smoothly so you can continue to drive where you want to go. Accepting help for your own life works in exactly the same way. Perhaps you're finding that grocery shopping and cooking a healthy meal every day completely depletes your energy, leaving you with nothing left for a hobby you love or a conversation with a friend. Stubbornly insisting on doing it all yourself means you are sacrificing the things that bring you joy and connection. However, accepting help, perhaps in the form of a meal delivery service or a family member who cooks a few meals for you each week, is not a failure. It is a brilliant energy management strategy. You are outsourcing a depleting task in order to reinvest your precious energy into the activities that feed your soul. This doesn't shrink your world, it expands it. It is a strategic move that keeps you independent in the ways that matter most to you. Let's use another analogy. Imagine you are the wise captain of a beautiful, sturdy ship that has been sailing for many, many years. This ship is you, your body, your mind, your spirit. You know this ship better than anyone. You know its strengths, its quirks, the sound of its engines. For decades, you have navigated vast oceans and weathered incredible storms all on your own. But now, the charts are showing new, more complex waters ahead. There are currents you don't recognize and weather patterns that are less predictable. A wise captain in this situation does not see it as a failure to use navigational tools. In fact, it is the height of wisdom and responsibility. The captain uses the radio to get weather reports. They use GPS to confirm their position. They might even hire a local pilot to help navigate a particularly tricky harbor. These tools and this help do not diminish the captain's authority or skill. They enhance it. They ensure the ship's safety and prolong its journey. The captain is still the one in charge, making the final decisions, steering the vessel. The help is simply a resource that the captain is intelligently using to achieve their goal, a safe and successful voyage. In your own life, the help you might need, whether it's a cleaning service, a grab bar in the shower, a pre-sorted pillbox, or rides to appointments, are your navigational tools. They are not signs that the ship is sinking. They are the advanced instruments you are using to navigate this new phase of your journey with skill and foresight. By using them, you are being a better, wiser captain of your own life. You are ensuring that you can continue sailing for as long as possible in the direction you choose. With this new understanding, we can make a powerful affirmation. It is an act of profound wisdom to know what you need. This is the opposite of weakness. It takes self-awareness to recognize a changing need. It takes courage to articulate that need to others. It takes intelligence to accept support that will enhance your quality of life. These are the characteristics of a person who is deeply engaged with their own well-being, not someone who is passively giving up. Think back on your life. Your greatest successes, whether in your career or your personal life, likely came when you understood your limits and collaborated with others. No successful business leader does everything themselves. No great scientist works in a total vacuum. They build teams. They delegate. They use the expertise of others. They know that true strength lies in building a network of support. Why should this chapter of your life be any different? This is simply the time to apply that same brilliant collaborative strategy to the project of your own life. So, let the old, outdated definition of strength as doing everything alone begin to dissolve. Let it be replaced by a new, more sophisticated, and far more effective definition. Strength is the wisdom to know what you need and the courage to ask for it. Strength is conserving your energy for what truly matters. Strength is being the captain who uses every available tool to ensure a safe voyage. When you begin to see asking for and accepting help through this lens, the shame and fear can begin to fall away. It is no longer an admission of defeat. It becomes an act of power, an act of intelligence, an act of profound self-care. It is you, taking charge of your life in a new and wiser way, ensuring that you can remain the author of your own story for all the chapters yet to come. As you lie here, redefining your understanding of strength, it is essential to reconnect with a fundamental truth that can get lost in the noise of worry and the opinions of others. And that truth is this: your voice still matters, profoundly. In the face of changing health, well-meaning family members, and a medical system that can sometimes feel overwhelmingly paternalistic, it is easy to begin to feel as though you are no longer the primary authority on your own life. Decisions might start being discussed about you instead of with you. People might start making assumptions about what you can or cannot do, what you do or do not want. Slowly, subtly, your own voice can get quieter, smaller, until you begin to doubt it yourself. Tonight, we are going to reclaim the power and the validity of that voice. We are going to remember the person who has been wielding it for a lifetime. Take a moment and let your mind drift back. Recall the person you were at 30, at 40, at 50. Think of the sheer number of decisions you have made in your life. You decided on a career path. You navigated relationships. You may have decided to buy a house, to move to a new city, to start a family, or to pursue a passion. You managed budgets. You solved thousands of logistical problems. How to fix a broken appliance. How to get 3 kids to 3 different places at the same time. How to handle a difficult colleague at work. You navigated complex emotional landscapes, comforting a grieving friend, celebrating a child's success, weathering disappointments and betrayals. Your entire life has been an unbroken series of choices, judgments, and actions. You have been in the driver's seat, making calls, weighing options, and dealing with the consequences, day in and day out for decades. Now, here is the crucial thing to remember. That person is still you. The accumulated wisdom from all of those experiences did not vanish when your knees started to ache or your memory became a little less sharp. The core of who you are, that capable, decisive, problem-solving individual, is fully intact. It is the bedrock of your being. The circumstances have changed, but the captain is still at the helm. Your lifetime of experience is not an irrelevant historical footnote. It is your most valuable asset right now. You are the world's foremost expert on one subject. You know your own body, your own preferences, your own emotional triggers better than anyone. You know what brings you comfort, what gives you anxiety, what makes a day feel worthwhile. This intimate lived knowledge is more important and more valid than any chart, any statistic, or any well-meaning assumption from someone else. Let's honor the power of your own preferences. They are not trivial. They are the threads that make up the fabric of your identity. Perhaps you are a person who needs quiet in the morning. Perhaps you cherish the ritual of reading the newspaper with your first cup of coffee. Perhaps you need to sleep with the window open, even in the winter. Perhaps you cannot stand the taste of a certain food. These are not silly little quirks. They are the small, sacred routines and boundaries that make you feel like yourself. They create a sense of order, comfort, and control in a world that can feel increasingly chaotic. Honoring these preferences is a way of honoring your own soul. Your desire to have things your way is not you being difficult. It is you asserting your own identity. It is your spirit's way of saying, I am still here. I am a specific, unique person, and I matter. So let us gently plant a seed in your mind tonight, a seed of conviction that will grow stronger in the coming days. The seed is this: your input about your own life is the most important voice in the room. Always. Your desires are not just suggestions to be considered. They are the starting point of any conversation about your future. Your feelings are not an inconvenience. They are vital data that must be taken into account. Your no is a complete and valid sentence that requires no further justification. This doesn't mean you won't listen to advice or consider other perspectives. A wise leader always gathers information. But it means that you are the one who makes the final decision about what is right for you. You are the one who holds the veto power over your own life. You can begin to practice using this voice, even in small ways. It might be as simple as stating a clear preference instead of saying, "Oh, whatever you think is fine." For example, if someone asks what you want for dinner, instead of deferring, you can say, I would really love some soup tonight. If someone suggests an outing that you don't have the energy for, instead of pushing yourself to go, you can say, "Thank you so much for the invitation, but I need a quiet day at home today." Each time you state a clear preference, you are strengthening that muscle. You are reminding yourself and others that you are an active participant in your life, not a passive recipient of care. You are the sovereign of your own kingdom. This is not about being confrontational or demanding. It is about being clear, calm, and confident in your own self-knowledge. Your voice can be gentle and still be powerful. Your boundaries can be expressed with love and still be firm. As you fall asleep tonight, let this sense of your own authority settle over you like a warm, protective blanket. Remember the lifetime of decisions that have led you to this very moment. Honor the wisdom that resides in your bones. Trust the validity of your own feelings and preferences. Your voice has not diminished. It may have been quieted for a little while, but it is still there, waiting for you to reclaim it. It is the truest and most reliable guide you will ever have. Listen to it. Trust it. It knows the way. Having reconnected with the authority of your own voice, let us now turn our awareness to the immense and often overlooked resource that fuels that voice, the deep well of wisdom you carry within you. In a world that often glorifies youth and newness, it is easy to internalize the message that your experience is outdated or irrelevant. It is easy to focus only on what you can no longer do, while completely forgetting the incredible things you have already done and the profound resilience you have cultivated along the way. Tonight, we will shift that focus. We will take a quiet inventory of your strength, not the strength of muscles and bones, but the enduring, resilient strength of the human spirit that has navigated a long and complex life. Think for a moment about the sheer scope of history you have witnessed. You have seen technologies emerge that were once the stuff of science fiction. You have watched the world change in ways that would have been unimaginable to your own parents. You have adapted to new social norms, new ways of communicating, new political landscapes. This is not a small thing. The ability to adapt to profound, sweeping change is one of the highest forms of intelligence and resilience. You are not a relic of a bygone era. You are a master of adaptation, a survivor of immense cultural shifts. You have learned, unlearned, and relearned how the world works, time and time again. That flexibility is a superpower. Now, let's bring it to a more personal level. Let your mind drift back over the landscape of your own life, not as a highlight reel, but as a testament to your endurance. Remember a time when you faced a significant challenge. It could be a financial hardship, the loss of a job, a serious illness, or the painful end of a relationship. Remember the feeling of being in the thick of it, the uncertainty, the fear, the sense that you might not make it through. Remember the sleepless nights and the worried days. Now feel the truth of this moment. You did make it through. You are here now. You navigated that crisis. You found a way forward, step by step, day by day. You might have stumbled. You might have made mistakes. But you endured. You learned. You survived. That strength you drew upon back then, it hasn't gone anywhere. It is not a finite resource that you used up. It is more like a muscle that you exercised. Every single challenge you have overcome in your life has strengthened your capacity for resilience. It is woven into your very being. The courage you found to face that difficult diagnosis, the patience you cultivated while raising a difficult child, the determination you used to rebuild after a loss. All of that is still part of your inner toolkit. You may not feel strong every day, but your history is undeniable proof of your strength. You have a 100% track record of surviving everything life has thrown at you so far. That is not an opinion. It is a statistical fact. Let's affirm this truth together. Let it sink in, past the layers of doubt and fear. You have navigated every single day of your life to get here. You have the strength for this too. This current challenge, this fear of the future, this navigation of aging feels immense, and it is. But it is not the first giant you have faced. You have faced other giants before. And you have within you the accumulated wisdom of all those previous encounters. You have learned how to be patient when you wanted to rush. You have learned how to ask for help when your pride resisted. You have learned that even the darkest nights are eventually followed by a dawn. You have learned that feelings are not facts, and that fear, no matter how intense, does not have the final say. This is the wisdom you carry. It is not something you read in a book. It is etched into your soul by lived experience. It is your most reliable and precious possession. Often, we think of wisdom as having all the answers, but that's not what true wisdom is. True wisdom is knowing how to live with the questions. It is the ability to hold uncertainty without panicking. It is the quiet confidence that even if you don't know the exact path forward, you have the inner resources to find your way, one step at a time. It is the humility to know you can't control everything, and the grace to focus on what you can. You can't control how your body ages, but you can control how you speak to yourself about it. You can't control the worries of your loved ones, but you can control how clearly and calmly you communicate your own needs and wishes. This is the playing field of wisdom. Time 2.5s. So, as you rest here, allow yourself to feel the comforting weight of your own history. Feel the presence of all the past versions of you who have overcome so much. The brave young adult who stepped out into the world. The resilient parent who navigated sleepless nights. The determined professional who met deadlines and solved problems. The compassionate friend who sat with others in their sorrow. All of these people are still within you. Their strength is your strength. Their resilience is your inheritance. You are not starting from scratch. You are standing on a mountain of your own lived experience. And from that vantage point, you can see things with a perspective that is unavailable to the young. You have the gift of the long view. You know that this too shall pass. You know that within every challenge lies an unforeseen gift of learning or connection. This is the quiet power that you possess in abundance. Let this knowledge soothe your worried mind. You are not weak or fragile. You are a veteran of life. You are a survivor. And you have everything you need within you to navigate the journey ahead with dignity, with grace, and with the quiet, unshakable strength that has been your faithful companion all along. With the deep, grounding awareness of your own inherent wisdom and strength, we can now begin a truly transformative process. We can start to consciously rewrite the story of tomorrow. For too long, the story that has been playing in your mind, especially late at night, has been a horror story. It's a narrative in which you are the passive victim, a story where things happen to you, where your control slips away, and where the ending is bleak and predetermined. This story is powerful, and it feels real, but it is just that, a story. And any story can be revised. Any narrative can be rewoven with new threads of empowerment, agency, and hope. Tonight, we are going to begin weaving a new narrative. This is not about naive optimism or pretending that challenges don't exist. The challenges are real. This is about changing your role in the story. In the new version, you are not the victim. You are not a passive object being moved from one box to another. You are the protagonist. You are the central character, the one with agency, the one who, while not in control of every plot twist, is actively participating in how the story unfolds. You are the hero of your own journey, and this is simply the next chapter in a long and epic tale. To be the protagonist means to act, not just to be acted upon. It means to make choices, even when the options are limited. It means to use your voice, even when it trembles. The first step in rewriting this story is to integrate the understanding we've been cultivating here tonight. It is the understanding that you can begin the important conversations about your needs and wishes now, from this place of calm strength rather than waiting for a moment of crisis. The old story says, don't talk about it. It's too scary. If you bring it up, you'll make it real. The new story says, talking about it is what gives me power over it. By bringing my fears and desires into the light, I can shape the outcome. Think about the difference. A crisis conversation is born of fear and urgency. Decisions are made quickly, under duress, and often without full consideration for your deepest wishes. But a conversation that you initiate from a place of thoughtful consideration is entirely different. It is a conversation of wisdom, not of panic. It is proactive, not reactive. You can begin to plant the seeds for this new story in your own mind. Imagine, for a moment, having a calm conversation with someone you trust. It could be your son or daughter, a spouse, a close friend, or a niece or nephew. Picture the setting. Perhaps you are sitting at the kitchen table, cups of tea warming your hands. The atmosphere is relaxed and unhurried. In this scene, you are not coming from a place of fear. You are coming from a place of wisdom. You might start by saying something like, "I've been thinking a lot lately about the future, and I want to make sure we're on the same page. My biggest priority is to live with as much dignity and independence as possible." Notice the tone. It is not a complaint or a demand. It is a statement of principle, a sharing of your core values. You are setting the frame for the conversation. You are establishing yourself as the leader of Team You. You can continue this imagined conversation by sharing some of the things you've clarified here tonight. It's really important for me to stay in my own home as long as it's safe and practical. I've been thinking about some things that might help with that down the road. By framing it this way, you are not presenting a problem. "I'm scared, and I don't know what to do." You are presenting yourself as a problem solver. "I've been thinking about solutions." This small shift in language changes the entire dynamic. It invites collaboration rather than a takeover. It positions you as a capable partner in planning your own future. This is a story of empowerment. Now, let's deepen this visualization. Let's write the next scene in this new story. Visualize a future where these conversations have already taken place. Imagine a future where you feel truly heard and understood by your loved ones. What does that feel like? It might feel like a profound sense of relief, a letting go of a breath you've been holding for years. It might feel like a renewed sense of connection with your family, a partnership built on honesty and mutual respect. In this visualized future, you are respected. Your wishes form the foundation of the plan. Support is put in place not as a reaction to a fall, but as a proactive measure to prevent one. Help arrives not as an intrusion, but as a welcome tool that you have chosen to use to preserve your energy and your independence. In this future, you are still in your own home, but perhaps it's a little different. Perhaps there's a stylish grab bar in the bathroom that you picked out yourself. Perhaps a friendly person comes once a week to help with housekeeping, freeing you to spend an afternoon in your garden or on the phone with a friend. These are not signs of decline. In your new story, they are symbols of your intelligent and proactive management of your own life. They are evidence of your success in creating a supportive environment that honors your dignity. See yourself in this future, moving through your day with a sense of peace and security, knowing that you have a team and you are its respected captain. This is not a fantasy. It is a possibility. It is a future that you can begin to create, one conversation, one small decision at a time. The nightly fear comes from a story of powerlessness. The peace we are cultivating comes from a story of agency. Every time the old scary movie starts to play in your mind, you have the power to change the channel. You can consciously stop the narrative of victimhood and replace it with this new narrative of the wise protagonist. You can remind yourself, I am an active participant in my life. I have a voice. I have wisdom. I can initiate conversations from a place of strength. By weaving this new story, night after night, you are not just managing your fear. You are fundamentally altering your relationship with the future. You are transforming it from a source of dread into a project you are co-creating with wisdom, courage, and the unwavering belief in your own enduring worth. As we weave this new story, one where your voice is central and your wisdom is your guide, we arrive at a beautiful and peaceful plateau. It is a place where we can transform our relationship with one of the most charged concepts of all, dependence. Our culture often treats independence as the ultimate goal, and dependence as a state of failure. We fear becoming dependent on others as much as we fear anything else. But this is a very limited and ultimately inhuman way of looking at things. The truth is, pure independence is a myth. From the moment we are born to the moment we die, our lives are a complex and beautiful dance of needing others and being needed by them. The reality of human existence is not independence, but interdependence. And finding peace in this truth is one of the great spiritual tasks of a long life. Let's explore this idea of interdependence. Think about the most basic elements of your day. The food you ate was grown by a farmer, transported by a trucker, and sold by a grocer you will likely never meet. The electricity that powers the lamp beside your bed was generated by a team of people at a power plant. The news you read, the music you hear, the very house you live in, all of it is the product of a vast, interconnected web of human effort. You are already, and have always been, deeply dependent on the work and care of countless strangers. This is not a weakness. It is the very fabric of civilization. It is the magic of what we can achieve together that we could never achieve alone. Recognizing this on a grand scale can help us soften our resistance to it on a personal scale. Now, let's use a more natural analogy. Imagine an ancient forest. When you look at the giant, majestic trees, they appear to be stoic, independent pillars of strength. They seem to be standing entirely on their own. But the real story of the forest is happening underground, hidden from view. Beneath the soil, the roots of these trees are intricately intertwined. Scientists have discovered that these root systems form a complex network, sometimes called the Wood Wide Web. Through this network, the trees actually support one another. A stronger, healthier tree that gets more sunlight can send excess nutrients through the root system to a smaller, struggling neighbor that is living in its shade. Older mother trees can even recognize their own kin and preferentially nurture them. They share resources, send warning signals about insect attacks or drought, and literally hold each other up in the soil. The strength of the forest is not in the independence of each tree, but in the profound, silent, life-sustaining interdependence of the whole. We humans are just like these ancient trees. For much of our lives, we focus on our visible, above-ground growth, our careers, our accomplishments, our apparent self-sufficiency. But our true resilience, our true strength, has always come from our hidden, underground root system of connection. It comes from the friend who listened when our heart was broken, the neighbor who watched our children for an hour, the partner who believed in us when we doubted ourselves. We have been giving and receiving this kind of essential life-sustaining support our entire lives. The current chapter is not a sudden, shameful plunge into dependence. It is simply a phase where the flow of nutrients in the root system might be changing direction. For decades, you may have been a mighty mother tree, sending out support and nourishment to those around you. Now, it may be your season to gracefully receive a little more from the network. This is not a sign of failure. It is the forest ecosystem working exactly as it should. It is your turn to allow the community you have helped sustain to sustain you in return. There is a deep, sacred beauty in this. Finding peace in interdependence means releasing the transactional mindset of, I don't want to be a bother, or I don't want to owe anyone. Love and care within a family or a community are not items on a balance sheet. They are part of a circular, flowing economy of grace. The care you gave your children when they were young was not a loan that they are now repaying. It was a gift. And the care they may offer you now is also a gift. To graciously receive a gift is, in itself, an act of generosity. It allows the giver to experience the joy and meaning of giving. By resisting help, by insisting on a brittle form of independence, we can sometimes deny our loved ones the opportunity to express their love in a tangible, meaningful way. Allowing someone to help you is a way of letting them into your life, of strengthening the root system that connects you. So let's try on a new feeling. Instead of the fear of dependence, what if we could cultivate an appreciation for interdependence? What if we could see this web of connection not as a safety net for when we fail, but as the beautiful, intricate tapestry that holds our entire lives? This shift in perspective can bring an incredible sense of peace. The pressure to do it all yourself begins to lift. You can relax into the comforting truth that you are not alone. You are part of a forest. You are held by a network of roots, seen and unseen, that have been supporting you all along. Your only task is to allow that support to flow, just as you've allowed your own support to flow out to others for so many years. Giving and receiving care are not opposites. They are two sides of the same sacred coin. They are both essential, honorable, and beautiful parts of a full human life. Rest in that thought. You are not a burden. You are a cherished and vital part of a forest, and your roots are deeply, beautifully intertwined with all of life. And so, as our journey for tonight begins to draw to a close, we arrive at this peaceful and expansive place. We have named the fear, validated the feelings, reclaimed our strength and our voice, and found a quiet peace in the beautiful truth of our interdependence. We have done a great deal of gentle, important work, and now it is time to let it all go. It is time to hand over the planning, the worrying, and the problem solving to the deep, restorative quiet of the night. Think of your mind as an office at the end of a long, productive day. Throughout this session, we have opened files, examined documents, and created new plans. But now, it is closing time. It is time to gently close each file, straighten the papers on the desk, and switch off the bright, analytical lights. There is nothing more that needs to be figured out tonight. You have planted the seeds of a new perspective, a new story. Now, those seeds need the quiet darkness of the soil of sleep in order to germinate. The conscious, striving mind has done its part. The next phase of integration and healing happens below the level of your awareness, in the wise and mysterious realm of slumber. You can trust this process. Trust that the insights and the feelings of peace you have touched upon here will not evaporate by morning. They have been woven into the fabric of your being. They will remain with you, settle deeper in your subconscious, ready to inform your thoughts and feelings when you wake. You don't need to clutch onto them or rehearse them. You can release them with the confidence that they have been received by a deeper part of you. The part of you that knows how to heal a cut without you consciously directing it. The part of you that knows how to digest food and turn it into energy. This same deep bodily intelligence is now at work, integrating these new emotional and psychological patterns. Your only job is to get out of the way and let this profound, natural process unfold. To help with this release, let's bring our full attention back to this present moment, to the simple, undeniable reality of right now. Acknowledge this truth. For right now, in this bed, you are safe. There is no immediate threat. The future is a concept, a story, but it is not here in this room with you. What is here is the gentle weight of the blankets upon your body. What is here is the soft support of the pillow beneath your head. What is here is the quiet rhythmic sound of your own breathing. In this moment, you are whole. No part of you is broken or missing. You are a complete being with a rich history and an inherent worth that is untouchable. In this moment, you are in your own space. This is your bed, your room, your sanctuary. Here, you are sovereign. You are in charge, and you have given yourself permission to rest. Let this feeling of safety and security permeate your entire body. Imagine it as a soft, warm light, perhaps a gentle golden or a calming blue. Let it begin in the center of your chest, a small, glowing ember of peace. And with each slow, easy breath, allow this light to expand. Let it spread warmth down into your belly, releasing any last remnants of tension there. Let it flow up into your shoulders, melting them into a state of deep relaxation. Let this peaceful light travel down your arms to the tips of your fingers and down your legs to the soles of your feet. Let it even flow up into your head, quieting the busy thoughts, soothing your mind, and creating a sense of spaciousness and calm. Your entire body is now filled with this gentle, protective light. You are floating in an ocean of tranquility, safe and held. Any worries that may try to surface now are like distant clouds on the horizon of a vast, peaceful sky. You can see them, but you don't have to engage with them. You are the sky, not the clouds. You can simply allow them to drift by, without attachment, without judgment. They are just old, habitual thoughts, echoes from the day. They have no real power over you here, in this sanctuary of peace you have created. Your only focus now is the simple, physical reality of rest. Feel the way the air feels as it enters your nostrils, slightly cool. Feel the way it feels as it leaves, slightly warm. This simple sensation is your anchor to the present moment, your anchor to peace. There is a great wisdom in knowing when the work is done, and for tonight, the work is done. You have faced your fears with courage and compassion. You have honored your needs and rediscovered your strength. You have done enough. Now, the greatest act of wisdom, the most profound act of self-care you can offer yourself, is the gift of deep, uncomplicated rest. You are handing the reins over to the night. You are trusting that sleep, your ancient and faithful friend, will come to you now to wash your mind clean, to restore your body, and to prepare you for a new day. You have earned this peace. You are worthy of this rest. Allow yourself to receive it, fully and completely, without reservation. The day is done. Let it go. Now, as we drift closer and closer to the shores of sleep, let us allow our focus to soften even further. The time for active thought and visualization is passing. The time for simple, quiet being is here. Let's gently shift all of your awareness to the pure, uncomplicated sensations of your body at rest. This is the final anchor, the last gentle step that walks you across the threshold from wakefulness into deep, restorative peace. Begin by noticing once more the simple sensation of weight. Feel the points of contact between your body and the bed. Feel the slight pressure at the back of your head as it rests upon the pillow. Notice the weight of your shoulders sinking down into the mattress. Feel the heaviness of your hips, your legs, your heels. There's a gentle but firm pull of gravity holding you securely to the earth. You don't have to hold yourself up. You can surrender your full weight to this support. Imagine you are becoming heavier and heavier, sinking deeper and deeper into a state of profound relaxation. With every exhale, you release a little more, letting go, sinking down into perfect stillness. Now, bring your attention to the feeling of the fabrics against your skin. Notice the texture of the sheet, the softness of the blanket. Feel the gentle touch of your night clothes. Is the air in the room cool or warm upon your face? These are the simple, real sensations of this moment. They are a quiet language that your body understands. By focusing on them, you are gently guiding your mind away from the complex world of thoughts and stories and into the simple, peaceful world of the present physical moment. There are no problems to solve in the feeling of a soft blanket. There is no worry in the sensation of a pillow beneath your head. There is only stillness. There is only peace. And now, let us return to the most primal and soothing rhythm of all, the rhythm of your own breath. But this time, there is no need to change it or control it in any way. Simply become the silent, curious observer of it. Notice the gentle, effortless rise of your chest or your belly as you breathe in. And notice the equally effortless fall as you breathe out. There is a natural pause at the end of the exhale, a moment of perfect stillness before the next breath begins. Rest in that pause. It is a moment of pure tranquility. Your body has been breathing for you every moment of your entire life, without any conscious thought or effort from you. It is a perfect, self-regulating system. You can trust it completely. You can let go of the reins and simply allow your body to breathe you. Ride the gentle waves of your breath, letting each wave carry you further and further away from the shore of thinking and deeper into the calm ocean of sleep. To help you on this final stage of the journey, let's use some gentle imagery. Imagine your mind is a calm, quiet harbor at the end of the day. The water is still and glassy, reflecting the soft, fading light of the twilight sky. All the busy boats of your thoughts, the boats of worry, of planning, of remembering, have returned to the harbor for the night. One by one, you watch them as they tie up securely at the dock. The work is done. The engines are silent. The crews are at rest. The harbor of your mind grows quiet, still, and peaceful. The only sound is the gentle lapping of the water against the shore, a sound as soft and rhythmic as your own breathing. Your mind can now anchor here for the night, safe from the storms of worry, held in this perfect, peaceful stillness. The words will now become sparser. There will be more space between them. This space is a gift. It is an invitation for your own mind to slow down, to match the gentle, unhurried pace. Allow your mind to drift on these quiet spaces, like a leaf floating on a slow-moving stream. There is nothing more to do. Nothing. to figure out. Your only task now is to allow the heaviness in your limbs, to allow the softness of the bed, to allow the gentle rhythm of your breath. You are simply letting go. Every breath out is a release of the day, a release of worry, a release of all effort. You are drifting now, floating in a place of warmth, of safety, of profound and deepening calm. The boundaries are softening. The boundary between your body and the bed. The boundary between the sounds in the room and the silence. The boundary between wakefulness and sleep. It is all becoming one, peaceful, seamless experience. You are safe. You are held. And you are ready to rest. Let us drift now into the final moments before sleep takes you completely. This is not a time for answers, but for gentle, open questions that dissolve into the quiet of the night. A time for the poetry of existence to have the final word. What if the ultimate act of strength is not to hold on tighter, but to learn how to open our hands, to release our grip on how we thought life should be, and to find a curious peace with how it is? What if every wrinkle, every ache is not a sign of decay, but a map of a life fully lived, a testament to every laugh and every tear, every storm weathered, each line a love story, each silver hair a moonbeam of wisdom? Consider the seasons. A tree does not cling to its leaves in autumn, mourning the loss of its summer glory. It lets them go, gracefully, trusting in the deep, unseen process that will bring new life in the spring. It understands that release is not an end, but a necessary and beautiful part of the cycle. Could it be that our own lives follow this same perfect natural rhythm? A time for budding growth, a time for vibrant fullness, and a time for the quiet, elegant beauty of letting go. A time to release the leaves of doing and to trust in the enduring strength of our roots. Let's begin a gentle countdown, a soft descent into the deepest peace. 5. Letting go a little more now. Feeling the last remnants of the day's concerns dissolving into the quiet air around you. Releasing the need to understand everything and simply resting in the mystery. There is nothing left to hold on to. You can let it all drift away. 4. Sinking deeper into the feeling of comfort and support. The bed is holding you completely. The night is holding you. The entire universe is gently holding you in this moment of profound stillness. You are a cherished part of it all, perfectly in your place. Allow yourself to feel this deep, unconditional belonging. 3. The rhythm of your breath is now a soft, quiet lullaby, rocking you gently into slumber. It is the most ancient and comforting sound, the first sound you ever knew. It is the sound of life itself, flowing through you without any effort. Trust this rhythm. Let it carry you. 2. Your mind is quiet now. A calm, clear lake under a sky full of soft, distant stars. Thoughts may ripple on the surface, but they are fleeting and far away, unable to disturb the deep, silent peace below. You are resting in the depths now, the deep, quiet, peaceful center of your own being. 1. You are on the very edge of sleep. The conscious mind is releasing its final hold, surrendering to the wise, restorative embrace of the night. It is a gentle, welcome homecoming, a return to the source of all healing and all peace. There is nothing more to do, nothing to figure out. Simply rest. Sleep is coming for you now, a gentle, welcome friend. It arrives on the quiet tide of your own breath, ready to carry you to a place of deep renewal. The journey for tonight is complete. Your only task now is to allow the deep restorative peace of sleep to embrace you completely. Rest well. You are safe. You are at peace.